So DIT is a very kind of diverse company with people all around the UK and in fact all around the world. But the team that I work with are in the UK, some of the main kind of markets for tech, Asia Pacific, Latin America, North America. So just coordinating a team such as that and communicating on time zones is a real challenge. So in previous roles, where the team has been that kind of classic mixture of office-based and home working, even before the pandemic, we brought everyone together at regular periods to do kind of get to know each other events. When the pandemic struck, we couldn't do that. And we actually continued to hire through the pandemic and hire on a work from anywhere basis. And that's really changed our dynamic. So now there are employees who their managers have never met them, that don't know the kind of the ethos and the culture of the organization, and trying to embed that in a distributed workforce is really tricky. And I think we're all still finding our way on that journey. I don't think anyone has yet cracked it. Everyone is trialing this and trialing that. Some people are asking people to come into the office on certain days. Others are saying, no need to come in, but we'll have twice yearly get-togethers. And others have gone fully remote, where they really anticipate never actually meeting face-to-face. I think the whole global thing is so important. So in the UK, where the economy is booming at the moment, post-pandemic, it's getting harder and harder to hire. It's hard if you're trying to build a base in a geography, whether it's London or any other of the major cities, but it's hard right across kind of our small island nation. And actually what we need to be able to do is to hire the best talent wherever they are. And if that talent's in Europe, in Africa, even in North America or Asia Pacific, you have to make it work. The time zones are challenging, and I think you have to be aware that very easily jobs can become 24/7, which isn't good for any of us. So you have to set some boundaries, and you have to have expectations of when people are going to be available for calls, when people are going to reply to emails. You have to set those kind of guidelines up so people don't feel the pressure to always be responding in whatever time zone there are. And again, I don't think anyone's got that right yet. I think everyone's feeling their way as to how to do it, but it's got to be the future. You've got to hire the best people wherever they are. Tools are really important, and there's some great tools that have either come out of the pandemic or have been repurposed. So one I'm particularly keen on is an employee tool called 15.5. And it's a way of employees feeding back to the centre how they're feeling, and for managers to feed back to them. It's an American company, and it's just, even though it's a weekly thing, the fact that as a manager, and I had a team of about 30 people that I was using with the product, I could instantly get a snapshot of how they were feeling, what their issues were, and what they needed to communicate to me. And just by looking at a dashboard, I could do that. There are lots of other tools, lots of great tools. In the UK, we've got a great company called Charlie HR, which has recently set up. They've got great products, and I'm sure there are products in all geographies all around the world. But I think trying those things and embracing them, and seeing what sticks and what works, and if there's resistance, being brave enough to say, okay, that's not working, let's find something else and let's try a different tool. So I think the hardest part, particularly during the extreme of the lockdown phase, and for those new employees coming into an organisation during that kind of pandemic lockdown period, where they didn't feel the culture of the organisation, and particularly with senior management who could be seen to be slightly remote, even more remote perhaps than others. One thing we did in my previous organisation is we had a regular Friday all-hands call, just to summarise what had been going on during the week and to set the agenda for the following week. But after a while, those things can become a bit staid, a bit monotonous. So one week we decided we wanted to focus on physical health and making sure people were getting exercise and not sitting hunched over their Zoom on the computers. So I actually led the session from my Peloton bike, wearing a far too skimpy outfit, I must confess. And I then handed over to a colleague who was on a running machine, and we finished with a live yoga session. And we still got all the messaging across, but I think we humanized it. And it was talked about for weeks afterwards. And I think people need to have more fun. In the same way in an office, you might have gone for a softball session, or you might have gone to a bar after work. You've got to bring that spontaneity and that interest into what can be a fairly staid, regular, boring call. So that was my kind of moment. I'm not sure I'm going to do it again for a while.